YUBEL is definitely one of the more interesting decks that have come out in recent times, and it's not difficult to see why. So not only does this deck have a ton of really cool combos, it actually comes with its own set of a relatively high number of one-card starters with the Samsara the Lotus, we've got the Nightmare Throne, Peri's Map, 1-for-1, all of that, as well as a ton of sort of various two-card combos based upon what you're playing. The deck feels really versatile, so it can set up some pretty impressive boards where you can get between 6 to 8 interruptions turn 1, right? And that's really good, and I've no doubt that if you're watching this, you've already seen the 600 other videos that are talking about specifically all of the combos that can be done and all of that. That's not what I want to focus on today. What I want to focus on today is how versatile the deck is in terms of its potential win conditions, as well as the plethora of two-card combinations that you can really get away with. Now, in this list, we are seeing a few cards that maybe you don't see very often in Ubel. We are seeing the Mature Chronicle and one copy of Super Polymerization. I think that these are really good. Mature Chronicle, I think, is better than Eternal Favorite in most scenarios. Eternal Favorite takes a little bit less setup, which I totally understand as to why people would prefer this card, but this is a really solid card as well, and the one of Super Polymerization that can be searched for is really useful, right? You can even play additional targets in your extra deck if you want, although I do kind of like this extra deck. We're still playing around with it a little, but it seems pretty solid. But yeah, we're going to be hopping in. I'm going to show off a couple of replays, both from our live stream as well as some gameplay I've had since then. And we're going to be playing a game or two live as well, just so you can get to grips with a lot of the more complicated sort of interactions and combos that this deck has to offer. Going and learning a one-card combo isn't always going to be the best way to learn a deck, and I've been a huge advocate of that since the beginning of this channel. We'll talk about the combo and I'll show it off in at least one of the games, but mostly we're going to be focusing upon all of the different win conditions that you can force out with this deck. So if you're interested in more content just like this or anything else that we're doing, of course, on the channel, make sure you're subscribed and you like this video to help us get it out to even more people. But I'm not going to waste your time here at the start. Let's just get right in. Now, this replay is one in particular that I wanted to show off because we pretty much combo off like crazy, but we also show off a little bit of versatility here after our opponent makes some impactful plays, let's say. We're going to go for the Nightmare Throne, grabbing the Samsara the Lotus, Dark Beckoning Beast, allowing the additional normal summon of the Lotus, which attribute itself to special summon the Spirit of Ubel from the deck. Ubel setting the Mature Chronicle. Because we already have Nightmare Pain in our hand, we can set the Mature Chronicle from the deck instead, which are going to flip up right away. Popping Ubel to grab ourselves the Grave Skirmer, Spirit of Ubel, as well as Nightmare Throne are both going to activate. We're going to summon out two Ubels here, grabbing the Terror Incarnate, then summoning it out to the field, and then our Spirit of Ubel summoning the original. That's two Chronicle counters. Keep track of those. We're going to go Cross Sheep now, shuffling back the both Ubels to go into our Phantom of Ubel, giving us another counter, bringing back Samsara the Lotus, giving us yet another counter, going into the Unchained Lord Yama. Yama's going to grab a Sharvara then. Now we're going to use the Squirmer, special summoning it. That's going to give us our 5th Mature Chronicle counter. That means Super Poly is on its way. There we go, just like that. Opening up the Spirit Gates, dropping Sharvara, bringing back Spirit of Ubel. Sharvara then going to send the Escape of the Unchained to the field. We're going to go these two into the Unchained Soul of Rage. Now, Grave Squirmer as well. So Grave Squirmer is going to bring the Dark Beckoning Beast, and we're going to go into a 2400 attack point Apollosa. We could have gone for a 32, but I wanted to keep the additional follow-up. We could have summoned another Phantom of Ubel and used it as material, but I really wanted to keep the two Ubel in my extra deck as a backup plan for like the OTK play. So getting our opponent to go straight to battle phase and straight into evenly matched. So I really like this replay because it shows off like a crazy load of the combos and how a lot of the cards work together, but also it's going to show us playing in some dicey situations. So we're going to go skip at the Unchained. We're going to pop Phantom and our Rage. So we're just trying to clear as many cards off the field as possible to trigger off some of our effects after the resolution of evenly matched. We keep our Apollosa, but Rage then is going to activate to grab us back to the Lotus, and Yama's going to activate to resummon the Rage. So we don't lose everything. We still have our Apo, we still have our Rage, and Rage is going to grab us follow-up for next turn, but it's definitely not an ideal scenario at all. They're going to go Thrust now, Thrust into Talent, and this determines much of how this turn goes, because now I'm playing around Talent, and that's a scary card. So I want to make sure that basically when it comes to the talent, I want to make sure that I can use both Rage and Appaloosa in the same chain, so that I'm getting as much value out of the Unchained Soul of Rage and the Appaloosa as possible, essentially. That is the objective. They're going to normal summon their Salitris, or whatever its name is, going to grab the Valmonica Dominio. I don't know a lot of these cards' names. I was going to do a video on Valmonica. It's a neat deck for sure. Again, they're only really putting up this much of a fight because they opened up with Evenly Matched. But, you know, I mean, it's a good card, right? Why not play it? They're going to Pendulum Summon. We are going to draw a little bit off of Maxi here. They're going to search their deck using the Dark Valmonica. Now, luckily for them, they don't need to special summon a lot during their combo, so they're not going to play too heavily into Maxi. They're going to give us a couple of cards, but that's the least they can do after Evenly Matched. They're going to steal our Appaloosa, going to go into the Heathen Hollow, going for lethal damage from the looks of it. They're going to banish a card from the graveyard, gaining 500 life points, going into SP Little Knight. Little Knight then going to activate to target our Rage. They're going to use Salitris in the graveyard. We're going to chain to that our Rage, targeting their Zabrufra. They're going to go ASP again, getting rid of our Rage before we can resolve. Really not ideal for us, but it does prevent the permanent banishing of our Rage, which is big. Grabbing back to level 4, of course. Pretty standard Valmonica plays here. SP Little Knight. They're going to go for Talent now. Talent, draw 2. Since we don't have any more monsters, why not just draw 2, right? Now they're going to go rank 4 into Baguska, and they're going to pass their turn. We get both our cards back, which actually prevents us from using Imperm here, but we're going to have to simply play around it. Drawing in our third Lotus is less than ideal. Normal summoning Samsara. Now we're playing under Maxi. We're going to shuffle 2 back, going into the Phantom of Ubel before linking off into Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker then going to activate, banishing the Rage, banishing Cross Sheep from the graveyard to get rid of the Baguska, protected by their Link monster, but they can only do that so many times. They're going to banish the Appaloosa, getting rid of Baguska now. Then we're going to use the Rage to get rid of their Link 1 into the battle phase, taking out the SP Little Knight via battle, clearing out the vast majority of their board. Now we're going to go Nightmare Throne to get searching for the Spirit of Ubel here before setting up some of our continuous cards, grabbing the Dark Beckoning Beast, just thinning out the deck a little bit. Nightmare Pain. Nightmare Pain's going to pump one of our Lotus to grab us our Eternal Favorite. And we're going to set 2 and pass. A lot of that the continuous sort of back row is very valuable. Just gives you advantage every single turn, which is big, right? Because this deck doesn't always win in one turn. They're going to grab more cards off of their things, stealing our Access Code Talker. Admittedly, I was a little slow on the uptake here. I definitely could have impermed this upon the resolution of their field spell. My bad. Definitely could have stopped a lot of this from happening. Now we're going to go for the Imperm to reduce it down afterwards. We're going to go for Valmonica from the hand, the Salitris. Salitris then going to search their deck again. They're looking to put lethal on board. It is an open field and they have my Access Code Talker, but they play into the Imperm column like a fucking idiot. Special summoning from hand here off Pendulum Summon, getting 500 damage to grab Invitaire to their hand. And yellow, Valmonica going to banish a card from the graveyard, paying 500 life points. I believe it reveals the cards until they hit a Valmonica card, and then they add that card to their hand. They're going to go Skeleton to grab the Trap card, a followed Rhythm, before linking 1. And this is the card that they use to press for lethal. And we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and it looks like it's game over, right? And this looks like, you know, GG's, right? GG, go next. However, we have the Spirit of Ubel in our hand. And the way this card works alongside Nightmare Pain is that Nightmare Pain does not allow your opponent to end their turn so long as they have a monster they can attack with. And if they can attack with a monster, they have to attack one of your Ubels. And if they do battle Ubel, they take any battle damage that you would have taken. So looking at this, 25 to their face, then 23 and 12 is lethal. Now, unfortunately for us, this guy Tamer stalls us like a little bitch. So this looks like an instant L to you guys, but to me, it was just like a minute or two of just sitting around and waiting. But yes, Spirit of Ubel forced him into killing himself, essentially, or beating himself, I should say. Awesome. And that's how a lot of this deck's win condition goes, and that's kind of why I love it. It kind of plays like Makonko in a way, except it feels like a more proactive version of Makonko, if that makes sense. It's less fragile than regular Makonko, and I love it, right? Next game. You know what? I did have some other replays lined up, but I'm gonna be honest, you're gonna learn a lot more about how to play this deck just by watching it get played, rather than looking at replays and such. So we're just gonna hop in. We're gonna have some fun, play some games, see what happens. Ideally, we're going to This is a decent hand. This is a really good hand, actually. It's a very good hand. The Unchained card, seeing these guys in hand kind of sucks because it does diminish the value of your Yama. But other than that, pretty solid. We're going to start with opening of the Spirit Gates because I don't really mind if this card gets ashed or negated or anything like that too badly. If you want to negate this, by all means. Dark Beckoning Beast. And even if he doesn't negate this and instead negates Nightmare Throne, Dark Beckoning Beast is still a pretty solid card as far as this deck goes. Ugh, that does sting, though. It definitely stings. We definitely don't want to see that happen. But we can... Honestly, I'm gonna negate it. I want to kind of show this deck at its best. If he has Max C, then sucks to be me, I guess. But if he doesn't, then we're in a good spot. Oh, interesting. Tier Limits Cash the Earth. Okay, so that means at least one of our card in his hands is a tier card. Okay, so you're just gonna what? Try to mill for some turn 0 plays? Is that the play? What the hell was that? Okay, Reinhardt. Okay. At least we're playing against a competent opponent. So we are gonna get to search our deck. We're gonna grab the Lotus. So I'm sorry, the Lotus. Dark Beckoning Beast is a decent starter for this deck, but whenever you begin it with the opening of the Spirit Gates, it becomes not so fantastic. They're gonna mill 3. Yeah, it does nothing. Alright, sick. And a leaf. Fantastic. Really glad that this is the state of Master Duel right now. Let's give this another try. By the way, the Lightheart Mate, pretty fucking sick. The Lightheart Mate is pretty cool. I'm glad they did something along those lines, and I think that this was the perfect card to do it with. Plays back to the original sort of chibi thing they were doing with the mates. Those early day mates, like the Borreload and Infinity and things like that, they were fucking ass. They were not good. Alright, we're going to start off with opening of the Spirit Gates once again. I do really like this card. Part of me wants to cut it down, but honestly, every time I play it, while it's not as good of a starter, it is such a good extender. Like, ridiculously good. We're going to start with the Dark Beckoning Beast here. Dark Beckoning Beast is going to activate, searching our deck for another copy of Opening of the Spirit Gates. And another thing that this card does that I think some people forget about is that if you control a level 10 monster, like Ubel, you can recycle continuous spells back from your graveyard, meaning you can use your second copy of Opening or any of your other continuous spells as discard fodder, basically for free. That is worth noting. Samsara Lotus comes out next. If you've got Max C or something, I've got the answer, buddy, so gotta make your mind up. If you have like an Imperm, okay, yeah, Max C, that works. Oh, if he has Gamma, I'm gonna be upset. If he has Gamma, I'm gonna be upset. He does not, okay. Gamma is a really good card right now, I'm not gonna lie. With Ubel running around, Gamma is a really good card. Spirit of Ubel coming out. Love to see it. Activating the Spirit of Ubel, we're going to grab Nightmare Pain from our deck. We're going to set it onto the field. Helps us play around things like Droll. Obviously not too relevant in this particular matchup, but you can still play this card for Droll, which is nice. I mean, you can't use its other effect, I guess, but you know. If you have not yet been Drolled by the time you play this card, you can then play around Droll. So now we're going to go for Nightmare Pain. We're going to pop the Spirit of Ubel. We're going to get another easy surrender. God damn. People just do not want to play Master Duel right now, I guess. Third time's a charm. Let's give this a try. I'm glad that Konami at least is sympathizing with me and giving us the coin toss every time. That's nice. I would like to play an actual game, though. This is part of why I haven't been making a ton of videos recently. It's like, my god, it's just... People just don't want to play the game, man. People just do not want to play the game. Alright, we're going to start with Nightmare Throne. 41 cards. No response to Nightmare Throne, which is interesting. Okay. Okay, we're going to grab our Dark Beckoning Beast then. We've already got the Lotus, so Dark Beckoning Beast is a pretty solid card. The only way in which this is a bad pick is if they have Imperm. Which they don't. Perfect. Love to see it. Now we're going to go for opening of the Spirit Gates here. That's going to let us grab another Dark Beckoning Beast. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now we can do an additional normal summon of our Samsara the Lotus. And we're going to get gaming. So we're going to tribute it off. Nothing from our opponent. Special summon Spirit of Ubel. Activate Ubel. We're going to grab our Nightmare Pain once again. Love it. Activating the Nightmare Pain. I love decks that play a bunch of continuous cards. I think that's one of my favorite styles of gameplay because the continuous advantage that you can loop out of these cards is really good. And I think in a deck like Ubel that's very solid defensively, having the additional staying power of, you know, your continuous cards that activate every single turn is super valuable. So now we're going to activate our 2 Ubel cards, Nightmare Throne and the Spirit of Ubel. Just like we did in our replay, Nightmare Throne's going to grab us the Terror Incarnate, and then we can summon the Terror Incarnate to the field. Perfect. Now we're going to grab our Ubel from our deck as well. And this is pretty, like, solid. This is pretty much just how it goes with Ubel, honestly. This is a really consistent, very powerful combo that you can do. We don't care about Terror Incarnate's timing. Alright, now we're going to go Phantom, shuffle back our 2 Ubels, the original 2 Ubels. Summon out Phantom underneath our Cross Sheep Barrow. Cross Sheep can activate, bringing a card back from the graveyard. Samsara the Lotus. Then we're protected from Nib as well because we got that Phantom on board. Now so this is where our combos kind of diverge a little bit. So I usually go for the Yama right about here. Unfortunately, again, Sharvara in hand does kind of suck, because that means we don't get any search value off of this, but you do need to have this card in your graveyard, so you need to summon it anyways, which does kind of suck, admittedly. You don't really want to be doing that. So now we're going to go for opening of the Spirit Gates. We can... yeah, we'll just do this. It's fine. There's a few ways in which you can play around with the Sharvara. I normally just try and discard it, though. Just because I don't want to play around with the Fiendlock. I don't want to get myself locked up in a situation that's less than ideal. Let's special summon, say, the Spirit of Ubel. It doesn't really matter what we summon. That triggers Sharvara to set our Escape of the Unchained to the field from our deck. Escape of the Unchained, a really powerful card. Now we can do a few things. We're going to go for Yama plus our Spirit of Ubel to win the Rage. And then from here, we're usually just setting up a couple of cards for an Abo, right? So we will not destroy a card. And then we can just go into a second Phantom. Yeah, let's just do a second Phantom. So shuffle back Spirit of Ubel, as well as our Dark Beckoning Beast. Summon out Phantom of Ubel here. Then we just go in the Abo. Cross Sheep, we will use as 2 materials. Technically, you could push it to more than 2 materials, but I really don't think that's necessary. And like I said before, preserving follow-up and preserving plays for the following turns is just so valuable in a deck like this. So we're going to set our back row, and we're in a very strong position. I may honestly just start off with this duel rather than show off the first 2, but this is really what we're after. 6 cards in hand. Our opponent does have, of course, their full hand to play around with this. Okay, Kashtira. Kashtira is a really powerful threat here. Okay, interesting. Okay, going into the Fenrir. Oh, damn. Fenrir is a damn menace, man. Fenrir is a damn threat. Ooh, Bonfire. Interesting. Snake Eye Ash. Yeah, I mean, you gotta start with the Fenrir, right? You gotta. I honestly think we just have to take it out right here and now. I do. I think it gives it way too much value if we sit on it. I'm just gonna take it out. So we destroy our Rage, and we destroy the Fenrir. And this shows an important interaction. You need to use the Unchained Trap card before you can use any of the other cards. So we're gonna go for Yama, banishing it to resummon the Rage, and then we've also got Rage itself, which is going to activate to grab one of these cards back to our hand. All things considered, I actually kind of want to grab back the Phantom, just for the additional follow-up for next turn. Because I don't think our opponent's going to put us in that threatening of a position here, and again, with the amount of follow-up we've got on our field, it's not like where you need extra engine pieces in hand. I do think having more copies of the Phantom of Ubel in our extra deck is just so valuable for that, for the Nightmare Piano TK for next turn. So he does have Snake Eye Ash, that much we know. Gonna go for a second field spell. Oh no, he's just sending it for Dia Bellstar. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'd buy that. Yeah, I'll negate, that's fine. So he's got Ash and 3 mystery cards. Ash and 3 mysteries. Gotta say, not what I was expecting. Not what I was expecting. Very interesting. That definitely stings. That stings quite a lot, actually. Ooh, boy. That is oh, Subversion, you bastard! Oh, no. Oh, no! Okay. Shit! Alright, alright, alright. I see how it is. I see how it is. I suppose this is where the extra super poly targets would come in handy, right? Ah, dearie me, dearie me. I'm gonna flip this up. It's not really of any use to me, but I'm tired of it asking me to use it. Okay. Damn, this fucking stings. Okay, gonna go for the Poplar. Divine Temple. Interesting. I'm gonna make an executive decision here. We're gonna go one Chain Soul of Rage. We're gonna use it and the Kurakara to go into SP Little Knight here. Right, okay, then the SP Little Knight, we're gonna activate it. We're going to banish Snake Eye Ash. You're gonna activate that, then I'm gonna use SP Little Knight's effect. We're going to banish Little Knight and Poplar, and that should prevent him from being able to do very much. We will have to take 25 to the face here. Wes, is there something you can do that I'm not thinking? Yeah, okay, that's fine. 25 to the face. That's A-okay. We can take that. Okay, great. Ending your turn. SP Little Knight will return back to the field. You'll get your Poplar back. That's whatever. You do not have 2 level 1 fires in Grave, and that one is not even summonable. Damn, this Phantom of Ubel being in my back row really hurts my damn feelings. But we're in a strong position. We're in a very, very strong position. And that's important to remember, because, again, literally any position that allows us to, like, an open field to swing on is huge. So we're going to destroy the Dark Beckoning Beast in my hand. And we're going to add from deck to hand the, I guess, Lotus. I guess I didn't really need to do that. I could have just normal summoned it. That's whatever. I did not need to do that. Oh, Droll the Lockbird! Oh, shit. That sucks. Oh, damn. Yeah, that really sucks, huh? Shit. That's okay. We can still play the game. So we're going to go Samsara the Lotus. You're going to get the summon Flamberge. That's a bad thing for you, Chief. You don't want to do that. You're going to want to summon that Dork in defense. That's not a good thing for you, buddy. Oh, he played it in attack mode. You're an idiot. Okay, we're going to go the Lotus, tripping it off. We're going to special summon the Spirit of Ubel directly from the deck to the field. Beautiful. We cannot add a card to our hand. We cannot even set one because our back row is unfortunately full. But it is what it is. We're going to go for opening of the Spirit Gates, activating its effect, detaching a discarding a card to target a monster in the graveyard and special summon it. Okay, yeah. So we're going to grab a continuous card back to our hand here. Just grabbing back this to use as discard fodder. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to angle this so that I can Okay, hang on, actually, what if we go access code talker? Hang on. Isn't access code lethal? So if we go access code here, right? Activate you. It's going to give me Esprit Little Knight back. Right, then we use Eternal Favorite. Bringing back Ubel. Alright, then we're going to use our access code talker. We're going to banish Rage from our graveyard. We're going to pop the field spell that's giving him the attack boost. Yeah, and then into the battle phase, we swing into the Flamberge for 3k. We swing in the Poplar for 3,600. Yeah, and then that should be lethal off a defender, right? Poplar will get a chance to place a card into the back row, that's whatever. Alright, perfect. Then Super Poly. Discarding a card to be added back to your hand off of opening. Going into defender. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Into defender. And defender on summon inflicts 500 points of damage to your opponent for every material used for its summon. That's 2k. Awesome. Easy dubs. And here we have it. This is the list. That was the gameplay. That was the replays. I feel like we got a really good live game there. That really did show off literally just everything that I wanted to show. It showed off the aggressive sort of Nightmare Pain damage in OTK. It showed off some of the combos, showed off the Unchained plays, showed off us playing back from a bad position. Honestly, that was a really good game, and I'm very glad that that happened. You also saw the number of games where our opponent instantly surrendered, and we didn't get to play the game at all. And unfortunately, that is just the state of Master Duel right now. So, do with that as you will. This deck's a lot of fun. It's very, very cheap as well if you have all of the sort of generic staples. If you've already got Unchained, for example, then there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 URs. You know, if you've already got things like 1 for 1 and all the generic shit, if you've got the Unchained cards. If you don't have the Unchained cards or 1 for 1, if you're doing this from scratch, I mean from zip zero nada, you have about 9 URs that you're probably going to want to play, maybe 10 from scratch. But quite a few of them are generic. You've already got a handful of them, right? If you played Unchained or if you played anything else like that. So, rather affordable. Anyways, that's the video. If you have any questions, anything at all, you can leave them in the comments, or you can hop into the Discord to throw some questions at us over there. And good luck, have fun, subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.